Have you ever walked away from a long conversation and felt strangely empty? Or maybe even a little bit lost? Maybe you can barely recall what you even said. Yet there's a kind of quiet fatigue inside that's hard to name. Most people don't realize this, but talking too much carries hidden consequences, ones that reach deeper than just social awkwardness or a tired voice. Today, we'll uncover what really happens beneath the surface. We'll explore the hidden costs, from the illusion of connection to the quiet erosion of self-trust. And the final point we all discuss touches on the very core of our inner guidance system, something almost everyone overlooks every single day. If you've ever wondered what your words might be costing you, stay with me. The last insight may just change the way you see yourself. The illusion of connection. You know those moments when you're in the heart of a lively conversation, words swirling like autumn leaves, and for a second you feel like you belong. Yet once it's over, there's not much left except a strange, silent yearning. In our noisy world, it's easy to confuse talking with connecting, like mistaking junk food for real nourishment. I remember this one dinner, everyone laughing at my stories, but riding home in that quiet cab, I realized I still felt disconnected, as though my words had bounced off a wall. It's the illusion of connection, busyness, noise, the comfort of being heard, or at least of being the center for a moment. But behind the chatter, real closeness is missing. Sometimes we speak and share to fill an invisible gap, hoping words can patch over what's never quite said. Why do we fear silence, those spaces between our sentences? Maybe because in the quiet, we finally have to meet the truth about ourselves. Here's a practical test. Next time you're in a group, notice how often the deepest connection comes not from the most words, but from the moments when someone just listens. Watch for the softening in someone's eyes, the relaxed smile. Those are the gold coins of true connection, and they often emerge in the spaces between our sentences. The invisible drain, emotional exhaustion. Ever felt the need to retreat after a day of endless talking? Not just to recharge, but to recover. There's an exhaustion that words alone create, a kind of subtle energy leak. When we talk too much, we're not simply sharing thoughts. We're leaking energy, little by little, often without noticing until it's all gone. I remember a stretch at work where, by evening, my mind felt as empty as an unplugged lamp, barely any light left for myself. Talking can feel like running on a treadmill. The more we talk to cover our uncertainty or dispel anxiety, the more tired we become, chasing a fulfillment that keeps slipping further away. We try to outrun fatigue by ramping up our words, but the debt only grows deeper. It's a bit like pouring water out to quench someone else's thirst, but forgetting to refill your own cup. Next time you're tempted to fill the silence, ask yourself, am I really sharing or just trying to escape something I don't want to feel? You might find that conserving your words leads to a wellspring of clarity and peace you didn't know you were missing. The silent threat to relationships is not just your energy on the line. Talking too much can quietly shift how others see you, how they trust you, and how deeply they open up. Have you ever dominated a conversation only to notice afterwards that someone got quieter or started drifting away? We tell ourselves that being engaging means taking up space, but trust grows best in the space we leave for others. Years ago, a friend said to me, "You always have a comeback ready, but do you ever just hear me?" That question changed the way I approached every connection after that. Relationships are delicate ecosystems. When we talk over others, they can shrink, feeling invisible or unimportant, even if we never meant harm. Before long, you might begin to wonder why your calls go unanswered, or why people seem less present around you. It doesn't mean you're uninteresting. It might just mean your words were a wall, not a bridge. Before we dive to the next layer, if you're finding these reflections helpful, consider joining our community. Subscribe and make this your safe space to journey inward, where your true voice and silences both matter. There's a lot more to explore, and you won't want to miss the rest. Eroding self-trust. Over-talking isn't always about others. It's often rooted in our own unease with silence. The more we speak just to fill the gap, the more we avoid dealing with what's unsaid within us: self-doubt, anxiety, uncertainty. When you always have something to say, you never get to feel that edge, that discomfort, and see that you'll survive it. Years ago, I decided to practice intentional quiet for a week. At first, every meeting felt raw, awkward, exposed. But by day 4, I was hearing thoughts in my mind and parts of myself that had long been drowned out by the noise. This rush to explain, narrate, and perform is not real confidence. It's more like a runaway train. Is it possible that true confidence isn't found in what we say, but in what we can bear to leave unsaid? Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is sit in the tension and trust that your worth isn't measured by your words alone. Next time you find yourself about to fill the air, pause for just a moment longer. Notice what rises up in you. Is there a new insight, a dormant courage, some quiet truth finally getting its turn? The price of not listening. Talking too much means we miss out, not only on others, but on the gifts of wisdom that only silence and listening can bring. When we jump in to finish someone's thought or steer the conversation, we close the door to surprise, to learning, and even to deeper belonging. I once worked for someone who rarely spoke in meetings, but when she did, her words felt like keys unlocking new doors. It taught me that power lives not in filling space, but in creating it. Try this the next time you're with someone. Count to 3 before you respond. Let their words land, and watch what unfolds. You might hear a pain that finally finds words, an idea that shifts the whole conversation, or maybe a moment of shared vulnerability that changes everything. The real treasures, creativity, intimacy, growth, aren't handed out to the loudest in the room. They come to those patient enough to wait and listen. Missing the wisdom of silence. When was the last time you experienced true silence, not just outside but in your mind? Most of us underestimate the transformative power of a pause. Too many words drown out not only others, but the wisdom we carry inside ourselves. Many of my own most important epiphanies happen not in the noise but in the quiet, on solitary walks, or just staring up at a silent night sky. Silence is a teacher that sometimes whispers what no voice ever could. Challenge yourself. In a conversation or even solitude, pause a full beat before answering. Watch for the insight, the unexpected thought, the gentle tug of your intuition. You might be surprised at what the stillness reveals. Losing track of your inner compass, the most overlooked consequence. Here's where it all comes together, the hidden cost that most people overlook. The more we talk just to talk, the easier it gets to lose sight of what truly matters. It's like always tilting your sails but never checking your compass. If you're always reacting, always speaking, you might wake up far from the person you wanted to become, unable to remember when you last listened to your real inner voice. That inner compass, your intuition, your guiding sense of purpose, grows quiet in all the noise. Sometimes the greatest act of self-care is not to speak, but to listen to the faint, persistent signal from within. And this is the core insight. The more space you allow for true silence, the more you rediscover your own direction. Don't be surprised if what you find there changes everything. So, let's bring it all together. We've journeyed through the illusion of connection, emotional exhaustion, how words can quietly threaten relationships, erode self-trust, steal the gifts of listening, mute the wisdom of silence, and, most powerfully, pull us away from our inner compass. But this isn't a reason for shame. It's an invitation to start fresh with gentleness and curiosity. Which of these consequences resonated with you the most? Was it the illusion of connection, or perhaps the quiet erosion of self-trust? Share your story in the comments. Your experience might be the compass someone else needs to read today. If you felt seen here, subscribe and enable notifications so you never miss a chance to come back to yourself. And if you're ready to discover how silence can heal and transform, our next video will be your next step. Remember, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to listen to yourself and to the spaces where words run out.